Under the aspect of design, reality is a brand, a tradable supergame redefined constantly by quantum phenomena and the ever-changing polarity of its participants. As we live in a consumerist world, suffering from our own overindulgence with public identity and increasing disrespect towards our mental and physical environment. Brand is the elemental unit of communication and exchange in all we perceive as reality. Design is a discipline in which the grand game becomes visually represented. It is tirelessly responsible for customizing our landscape, defining our egos and shaping our culture, making our civilization what it is. From a point of view merged entirely with capitalism yet forever rebelling against it, each and every one of us is a designer constantly working on his or her public image. We rise every day to the routines planned out for our personal strategy games, and by the time we set back to sleep, we are acting out the representations of our self-brands that play with those of others. In this reality, pictorial orders control society a lot more accurately than words. Menus of conventional symbols result in predetermined options, restricting interpretation to the point where our minds rebel against our very own freedom. Under the aspect of branding, reality is a design, a grand game of forever redefining the rules that govern the way we perceive ourselves. Design is a little understood process that happens in a vacuum of rational and emotional experiences. We all know its causes and effects, but when we try to focus onto it, our reason falls apart. Design is magic. We mirror our own reality every moment. We represent our own selves. We design and control our own multiple identities. We constrain and discipline and buy and sell them. Our unique personal realities are just random brand assemblages. The rest of the world is merely weighed against them, and the scales are never completely balanced. Which is all very normal. We're just calling it names to upset us. You know how in order to improve our lives we're generating more efficient ways for us to experience them. Well, the perfection of life's continuity lies in a state of opposites that is causing the universe's perpetual instability, which we sadly experience as pain and discomfort. When improving our lives, we're generating more pain and discomfort. Of course, we're promising happiness because we must always be upset and unsettled. We're part of a universe that never settles. The only thing that remains constant is our competence for desire. Welcome to the latest New World Order, conventional year AD 2010. Everything that is perceivable is consumable. It can be owned, represented and traded. Branding is everywhere. Are you feeling real today? Silence in conversation is of political nature. Where Wittgenstein's logic stops talking, graphics start making things manifest in silence. Graphics, like diagrams, present a form of mandala that is academically legitimate. SubSpecieDesign.org has 4 sets of diagrams. The field of the grand reality game is examined from 2 aspects, from the ground and from above. The ground view is an oversimplifying introduction to ethics, logic, game theory, economics, sociology and psychology. It shows the relationship between them and how they mirror and complement each other, and it addresses preconceptions about lies being unethical in their entirety. Trust and cooperation are the main objectives in the large game of social coexistence, but they can be met simultaneously in only 1/4 of the game, the unwanted quarter of utopia. The most beneficial combination of trust and cooperation, called the Nash equilibrium, is equally possible in both honesty and hypocrisy quarters. Psychologist transactional analysis quote "I'm okay, you're okay," attributed to Thomas Harris for his homonymous book published in 1969, is used to clarify the common nature of trust and cooperation game described within the scheme. The satellite view is a semiotic map of a designer's culture. It serves as a compact introduction to semiotics beyond the confinement of linguistics and to the intricacy of the designer profession. First, Maslow's pyramid of needs is superimposed on Hall's culture cycle in criticism of the staticality with which needs are dealt with by marketers. Then, the basic structural elements of branding are superimposed on Barth's model of meta-language formation to show the relation of brand and myth. Next, a semiotic path is showing the two levels of perceiving the world that designers are experiencing: the sign signifier subjective level and the signified objective one. Finally, the three are combined to produce a large cultural cycle where the full semiotic network can be glimpsed. The designer, at his or her most sacred moment, that of designing stuff, is positioned on the advertisement node, between signified wishes and products. Consumer identity and designer identity are merged in a single diametrical reflection that is the art released by the designer amidst a certain society and culture. This is an identity integration that leads the designer to self-actualization, an overlapping projection of two different states of subjective being that link the objective world. Branding is the weapon by which design affects the world. Design is branding the world, and branding is designing the world. Every single brand is taking its design journey in one way or another. Every single myth, legend, buzz or spell. There is always an idea with some wishing essence in the beginning, there is always a promise with a certain design literature to advertise the essence, and there is always a drama at play in the end. There are millions of brands taking this journey every day. Their essences sooner or later expire. Their designs remain. And by remaining, they inspire new essences and new designs. Civilization is thus constantly destroyed and recreated, while design is accumulating or being recycled. The symbolic world model of civilization under the aspect of design is a leap from designing for a job to designing for a world. Civilization can be seen as a biological body with an anatomy resembling our familiar own one. Designers belong to the advertising system that corresponds to the endocrine. Advertisements bear an uncanny resemblance to hormones. There are things that design can lie about and things that it cannot, even when it tries. A badly designed advertisement, or simply a bad design, is reciprocal to a real situation, hindering its process, while a good design is telling a beautiful lie about the present that humanity is capable of making real in the future. The zones of truth and lies can be so defined. There isn't much to worry about if designers practice being always ahead of their times, because so they are free to independently express new ideas in support of the real world. But there is serious concern if designers idly imitate and copy each other, conforming to standards about right and wrong that are based on conventional delusions about reality. In advertising, right is wrong and wrong is right. For designers, subjective is objective and objective subjective. And that's why design is special to the rest of the world. Design and all the arts that are there. They are, as Alan Fletcher has published in 2001, looking sideways. The AMO set of diagrams sums up design process by employing a typical psychology model of how the brain works. It is implied here that designers are performing a process that is happening entirely in the mind and not in reality. Yet, since reality is defined and altered by new designs, reality must also be a process happening in the mind and not for real. This is a philosophical dead-end point, requiring that we transcend science and return to poetry. The No Brand Manifesto is offering just the poetic release from the reality paradox of logical inference by calling designers to stop thinking of reality as a brand owned by special humans ruled by a certain Western canon and traded for a virtual substitute. It is brands that are illusions, not reality. Reality is just a game.